Pokemon Champions is out. It is fun. It is a good time. It is very accessible and it is not prohibitive. You're not going to have the same opportunity to get into the game if you don't own Pokemon games than if you do, but you can still absolutely play and succeed if you try your best and actually put effort into learning how competitive battling works. There are a couple things about the release that have been very controversial. I will say out the gate, while the conversation and discourse is important to have, it's important to hold Pokemon's feet to the fire to make sure that they actually follow through for the players and what they want and what they're interested in. There are also things that are overblown because the Pokemon community has built up this massive habit of raging about every single thing that happens ever. Champions has a lot of things about it that are very good news for people who might have been going into it with low expectations like me. And I think that really colors the conversation. I went in with low expectations and I'm very pleased. People who went in with really high hopes that it would offer robust options for all sorts of battle modes that you would want to do are disappointed. And I think that's fair. So firstly, there are 213 Pokemon available. This is counting forms. So if you subtract the Gourgeist forms, the Lycanroc forms are basically different Pokemon, truly. It's just say around 200. Most of these Pokemon are viable, but some of them are not. And some people are frustrated that more Pokemon are not in from the beginning. And some people are also pointing out that Eternal Floette randomly is like a mythical Pokemon that is a good deal stronger than other Pokemon. And this gives you an edge if you have this. So if you've played and beaten ZA, you kind of have an advantage in this format. I don't know if the meta has truly developed to where, you know, counters to Floette aren't being tested or run, but it doesn't mean it doesn't warp the format because it exists. I'm not arguing that. Most people don't have access to this Pokemon, so you're not probably going to be seeing it until you're higher up in ranking. The people who ported it in are really going. But my take on the Pokemon thing is the same thing I'm going to have when we get into the item conversation, which is that it's fine to start off with a lower powered environment. It's fine. Like, you don't need to start off immediately with things being at full high power. That's going to alienate a lot of people who are jumping into competitive Pokemon for the first time. There are tons of options in this format. I've been having fun going through and looking at what is available and what I can build. Pokemon Champions dev responds to backlash with major bug fix upcoming soon. As I speak, I think it's actually done. That's been done for about 30 minutes, but like, they already have done a patch. I'm going to see what the patch notes are once I log into the game. So maybe this will age badly. What bugs, you may ask? Players were losing their Pokemon trying to transfer them into champions. This is the one thing I will not run any defense for whatsoever. I don't know if it literally deleted them. Basically, like, they wouldn't be sending to champions when you tried to port them from home, but you also couldn't get them back in home afterwards. It was weird. Seems like it's getting resolved, so not too much worry. Pokemon Champions limited Pokedex and performance leaves some fans disappointed. So it's the amount of Pokemon, but also it's just not running well. The game is looking kind of crunchy on the graphics in some areas. It's a Switch 1 game. Pokemon has not really done a good job on this front with a lot of their releases over the years, so I understand. I understand the complaints about it. I don't know what to say. I don't want to tell people don't complain about it, but I also don't want to be like, it's not a big deal. What do you expect at this point? No Pokemon games have looked good so far. I just getting in an uproar about Champions being yet another in a long line of Pokemon games that don't look good. I don't know. You're setting yourself up for disappointment at that point. Champions runs well in terms of like, the battles are fine. The animations and the lighting and whatnot, the artistic framing looks pretty good, but the rest of the game is pretty blurry and unnecessarily so. Pokemon fans beg Game Freak to let them finish their battles. 20 minutes isn't enough. The reason I'm bringing this up as well is because there's a little bit of controversy around 6v6 singles battles not being in the game. Well, the thing is, 6v6 singles hasn't been supported since Sword and Shield. The Switch in general has not supported that. The timer has been basically permanently cut. This is 7 years ago. This has been the case. 20 minutes for 6v6 isn't enough. You can see this. PokeMD featuring Wolfie, Shofu, A-Drive, Duncan, all these people made a video back in Sword and Shield begging for the timer to be fixed. Never happened. Wasn't in Scarlet and Violet. Hasn't been in any Pokemon game since they initially did it. Pokemon has doubled and tripled down on this being the case. Yeah, there's a lot to criticize. There's a lot to complain about, a lot to be upset about when it comes to Champions. Also, man, I really don't care about any of this. And that's just me. I'm not saying no one should care about it, but like, I was expecting this to be a VGC simulator and nothing more, because Pokemon has not indicated that they're going to support really anything else. Maybe down the line they'll add 6v6 once they fix out connection issues and bug stuff. Don't hold your breath. This company doesn't seem to be interested in appeasing what players want as much as what is feasible for them to do and fits their vision of how they want the franchise to to go for it. The outrage around Champions, it's not that there's nothing wrong with it, it's just that it's predictable. I guess that's what really gets me. Like, Dexit was 7 years ago by this point, right? At what point are people going to just be like, yeah, that's how it is? The thing I want to focus on personally, there are a lot of errors and a lot of oversights. Like, you can use a Hawlucha with no guard, use entrainment on your partner Pokemon, and use Oko moves just over and over again to your opponent and just knock him out. I saw a Melodic use Haze and heal from 1% to 93%, which is not what Haze does. Haze does not heal you, let alone better than Recover does. There are a lot of problems that are in the game right now, and given that they've already done maintenance, I am wondering if they've already worked on a patch for those issues. The issues aside, on launch, it's a free game, and on that note, it's not even predatory. That's the thing that kind of blows my mind. I was like concerned leading up to it based on some reports, like, are we gonna have to buy VP to keep up with things? The victory points, the in-game currency. You don't. You can't. You can't buy victory points. You have to just battle. You can buy the membership to get more storage. You can buy the premium pass to get some like cosmetics and access to more Pokemon, but I'm gonna be real, just buy a Pokemon game and connect it to home. If you're already in the Pokemon ecosystem, this is nothing to you. And if you aren't and you're just trying to get your feet wet, I don't know why it's this expectation this free game is gonna hand you on a silver platter all of this stuff. I have very high hopes for Champions. It's crusty right now. It just came out. The it just came out thing is not a defense of it looking bad or not doing certain things that I don't think, I'm not even promising they're gonna add the features in you want. I'm kind of like not expecting anything to happen with singles that's meaningful because Pokemon has just shown they don't care about it. Y'all been burned. Right? Champions hasn't changed it. It should. PokeMD should feel super insulted by, you know, lifting that community on his back since the inception of competitive battling. But everything else I just think is whatever. Limited Pokemon pool, they'll be in later. It's fine. Limited items, oh, interesting. We don't start off with every item under the sun. Now people who don't know what an assault vest is aren't confused about why their damage isn't doing as much. Like, it's fine. It's one format. We also saw in Scarlet and Violet how fast the formats were changing. Regulations were changing like every month or couple months. I think people need to chill and just enjoy a thing, or just decide a thing's not for them.